So it is our own resistance that assists others in being outside of their own vortex.
Well, you cannot be co-creative components without... That ties into what we said to our friend just now. Most of you cannot see yourselves apart than how you think others see you. In other words, you care how you look because others are looking at you. You try to have good table manners because others may be aware. In other words,
but if that feels really good, then you go with it. In other words, it feels good to have table manners. It feels good to put on certain clothes. It feels good to, have a body, as one gentleman said.
Well, it doesn't have to be either or. We don't want to imply that we want you to come here and work your way into singular hermitry. We don't want you to be a hermit. We don't want you to live by yourself. We don't want you to be an isolationist. We want you to integrate.
Just hold your vibration.
We just want you to hold your vibration. And we want that to be important enough to you that you take whatever steps you can.
Yeah, fine tune from inside the vortex.
Yes.
Get there. And
yes.
So.
But you said something. Say it again because it's not settled. The last thing you said, say it again. The question.
Oh. It is our own resistance that assists others.
You see, we don't want you to cater to others. We don't want you to be good.
But I'm doing it for myself.
Then why are you talking about others?
Because that for me.
Wait. Your words don't matter. Your vibration is what we're hearing. And so you ask that question because you are a teacher. And you are an uplifter, and you want to set a good example, and we want all of that for you too. But we want your setting of an example for others to be far, far, far down on your list of priorities in relationship with being in the vortex for the joy of being in the vortex. Because when you factor others' opinions in at all, they'll get you every single time. In other words, it's a Pandora's box you can't open. If you cater even a little, if in your desire to be an uplifter, you are considering, did I uplift you? Did I uplift you? Did I uplift you?
Right. I'm not really saying I'm not. That might be my vibration, and it might be in there. I don't.
Then
think
ask the question again.
All right.
Ask the question again.
Because what I'm talking about is
ask the question again. We really want to.
It is our own resistance that assists others in staying outside their vortex.
Who cares?
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at.
That's what we want. In other words, we don't want anybody to yank your chain in that way. We don't want you being good for the sake of others. Because you can't be good enough for the sake of others. You can't. Look how many martyrs have tried it.
Right.
You can't be good enough. Because they're all standing in different places and they all want different things from you. And when you care, when you begin reacting to them, and that's because you see what happens, and the reason that we're so strong about this and really wanting to co-create with you about it, first of all, we are enjoying your ability to hear what we're saying and move on from that. And also, we are wanting you to realize that when you are interacting with so many other people who are in so many other places, that considering them just slows you way, 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 way down. In other words, when you set your tuner on your radio dial, it matches the frequencies that match it. It doesn't say, oh, we're leaving them out.
Well, and what I was driving at is the concept of projection in psychology. It's like we look around at the world and we're supposed to be embracing diversity, and it's like our not embracing the diversity. And that's what I mean.
But think about this. Isn't tending to your own vibration the ultimate? We wouldn't use the word embrace diversity. We would use the word allow diversity. We would even use the word appreciate diversity. Embrace adversity, and you may mean the same thing as we mean when we use the other words, but it implies that there are things that I would just as soon not experience that I should embrace or tolerate or give attention to, and we say, then you're out of the vortex. So when you're really fine-tuning, let's come back round to the word that is most significant to us as a result of this conversation, and that is you are an uplifter to the very core of your being, which means you are a teacher of upliftment. But what that means is You have to tune yourself to the highest frequency that you've carved out of this life experience and let law of attraction bring those to you who are in the vicinity. That is the only way that upliftment works. And it is the only way that true teaching works. Because otherwise, whatever the strong vibration is will dominate the conversation.
Right.
You see? Until you just have to hang up the phone.
So in the world of the small selves, like we've been talking about health, so the world of the small selves, the world of the large global things such as AIDS, war, genocide, allow AIDS, allow genocide.
And that should be easy because you can't not allow it. In other words, there's not anything you can do to control it. So when we say allow it, we mean don't let it make you so uncomfortable that it throws you out of the vortex and causes you to be disempowered. Cool. We're not saying embrace it. Yeah. We're not saying vote for it. We're not saying root for it. We're saying allow it because you have no choice. But the true sense of allowing is keeping yourself in the vortex anyway. That's what allowing means. Allowing myself alignment with all that I have become, regardless of what's going on around me. Mm-hmm. Holding to the vibration that is me and being the light that others can find and see, not the projection of the light into a dark place, because you cannot project the light of the vortex into a place that's out of the vortex and light it up at all.
Wow. Wow. So coming back to the subject of relationships and children, and this has been just such an incredible quick journey. I'm just, go for it. I don't know. I mean, although I will say this, there are people in this room, we've had conversations, use the term the other day of fresh starts. We were talking about
that's what we mean when we say children are the light. Right. In other words, because the brighter the light, the less resistance. And usually, the less time on earth, the less resistance and the brighter the light. Right. The longer that you live here, then the more, and we started to say this earlier, and this fits in here really, really well. Almost as soon as someone is born, those who surround them make it clear to them in a well-meaning way that this behavior, little child, is pleasing to me, and that behavior, little child, is not pleasing to me. So don't take your eyes off me as you behave. And if I'm smiling, keep doing it. And if I'm frowning, stop immediately. So what happens is children are trained away from their natural inclination to who they really are. In other words, a child who is tuned in, tapped in, turned on is often seen as rambunctious or disobedient or
so should they have free reign? In other words,
disordered. This is a disorderly child, and we say yes.
Yeah. I mean, like Steven Spielberg's mother apparently let him paint on the walls, write on the walls. I mean, just created this like almost, dreaming environment. Like, go for it. Just, you're a creator, and, all this other stuff is social convention about furniture and paper, wallpaper and paint and houses.
Let's talk about this because, so let's say that you have a beautiful home and someone painting on the wall is not inside the vortex for you. So, we're not encouraging you to just say, I embrace any behavior that you want to offer. What we encourage you to do is to be so in alignment with the beauty of your own home that law of attraction would never bring to you something that would contradict that. In other words, what we really are saying to you is when you tend to your vibration, the law of attraction does all the legwork. So when we're talking about parenting or partnering or relationships of any kind, if you tend to the relationship that really matters, which is the relationship between you and you, what you begin to discover is those issues are not something that keep coming into your experience. And when they do, that's why so many of you later in your lives, in other words, you're not still children. And so there are a lot of patterns and thoughts and beliefs and relationships that have already begun. And you have prejudices and opinions and decisions and preferences about how you like your world to be. And we want you all to have your world the way you want your world to be. But what happens is when anyone has the discussion about behavior, before they've had the discussion about the vortex, then you just write a cajillion books about whether it's better to let your children write on the wall or whether it's not good to let your children write on the wall, when this discussion of upliftment and creation has nothing to do with what you allow or don't allow somebody else to do. When you tune in to who you are, no matter what, unpleasing things cannot be a part of your experience. It's just a fact of the law of attraction. Only cooperative components can be yours.